Welcome back to another episode of Bombshell1111 Girl Talk Series Podcast. Bombshell1111 is a platform created to teach ways to nourish the mind, body, and soul. This platform allows this podcast to create weekly content on podcasts with special guests each week that will stimulate your spiritual, mental, and physical growth. The podcasts are played on social media platforms such as Spotify, YouTube, Anchor radio station, Apple Podcasts, and more. This station has been created to allow us to interact with each other to share knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and light. So without further ado, please help me welcome your host and founder of Bombshell 1111 Girl Talk Series, Keya.
Welcome back, everybody, to Bombshell1111 Podcast. My name is Keya, and I'm your host. So, you guys, just from the intro, you heard who I have tonight for my special guest. His name is Bo. There's no need for an introduction if you know who he is. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and welcome him to Bombshell1111 Podcast. What's up, Bo? How are you?
Hey, Keya, what's going on?
It's good over here in the hood. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast, on the platform.
Well overdue.
Yes, I think your energy is just very positive, and you do a lot of different things as far as creative wise. And I think that the message that you use within your music, pertaining to whatever song that you're doing at that time, they're always positive. And I thought that would be a good segue for you to come on the podcast and, you know, kind of share some of your tips, your strategies, you know, whatever you use as your motivation or have used to get to where you are now. So welcome again to the podcast.
Yes, I'm excited.
So let's just jump right in. So, Bo, for those individuals who don't know, even though I did do a short bio on our promotion throughout the course of the past few weeks, as well as your intro, but I want you to do a formal introduction and let the audience know who you are and where you're from.
Okay, I'm from the Chicagoland area. I was born and raised in a town called Markham, Harvey. That's as far as location, as far as where I'm from. Who am I? I guess the simple answer would be, I mean, if I'm answering it from Vo's perspective, I'm a Chicago-based rapper who just never had anyone give me anything, and I decided to sit in my car and started a movement, and I stayed true to it, and God opened some doors, and people received it well, and it just grew the platform. So I'm a recording artist that try to speak life into death, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I would definitely agree, because I did not know this whole entire time that I'm living down the street from this superstar.
Not only down the street, but like 2-3 houses, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I see the videos on social media. I've watched them several times, never had put two and two together, never. And then, you know, with Father doing more research on you and your movement and what, you know, your music that you do, it was just very positive, and, you know, motivational. And I think you would be just a great mentor, or, you know, a great motivational speaker for young men. And again, that's why I thought you would be a great, you know, guest for the podcast.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, Bo, let's get into some more like background about you for those individuals who may not know who you are and or may not be familiar with your music and things of that nature. Let's talk a little bit about what first got you into doing music and what kind of inspired you to start doing music.
I think I'm a 80s baby. I think all of us got the same story, right? It was an R&B world. We had the Michael Jacksons and Jodeci's, and I come from one of them big families with a lot of cousins, and we used to just do concerts and sing in groups. And I kind of got older, and I fell in love with music since an early age. But it's like in gospel and R&B, but I was inspired by all the R&B greats. But as I got older, my voice just did this deep thing, man, and I just can't hold a note to save my life. So I had to let the R&B go, and it was too late to stop. I was already in love with music, so I just fell in love with poetry and just emceeing. And I think my early inspirations came from people like LL Cool J, the Heavy D's, then I got older and got into like the Jay-Z's and the Nas's, and I just, man, I'm inspired by everybody now at this point. But that's what kicked it off. I wanted to be the next Michael Jackson.
So with knowing that and where you are now, coming from a child and into your manhood, where you are now, what is the message as far as with the music that you've created over the years? What is the message that you're trying to give to the fans?
It's more so like self-awareness, conscious. A lot of people, and you know this better than me, a lot of people think that the thing that they looking for is outside of them. In reality, it's like everything you looking for is inside of you, right? So my music speaks that in volume, man. Just finding who you are. It's from an energy standpoint to a spiritual standpoint, and it's people relate to it, but I just try to raise self-awareness. People gain some self-love, the world will be a better place.
And you stated about your spirituality. How does that correlate with your music? Like, do you do meditation? Like, what do you do in regards to that as it relates to your music? Oh
yeah, I'm heavy on the meditate. And I encourage everybody that's listening to get into it, man. I don't know what y'all prayer life look like, but definitely step it up, man. But meditating actually helped me find myself, man. My thoughts are so loud, so like it's it get a little rambunctious upstairs, It get a little and it get crazy, and you really have to take time out to organize these thoughts and really, ask yourself what you want and visualize it, and then turn that visual into, the reality, create the physical form of it. And I actually meditate before I even write. So meditating is a big part of my life and my music.
So, and with that being said, how has with you taking those steps that you have taken with using your spirituality, your meditation, things of that nature, how has that really impacted your music career as it relates to like being on the internet or just in general with using those techniques, using those methods? How has that impacted you?
Oh, it impacts
business-wise.
Oh, that's a good question. So how has me meditating helped me business-wise?
Yes.
Good question. I would say, well, of course, the meditating and everything, it raises my awareness of myself. So I actually, I don't know. I think I know myself pretty good. And when you know yourself in this world, that's all that matters. So as far as the business go, it helped as far as, I guess most of my upcoming was on social media, and social media could be it could be a little negative. It could be a little,
the devil.
Yeah. It could be. It's just a place where everybody can voice their opinion and say whatever they want to say, whether they got a license to or not. Just to know how many years I put into this music industry, to know that somebody who don't know how to do it is on the other end of a computer telling me, "Oh man, that ain't it. He sounds," you know what I'm saying? Like those type of thoughts. And I think if it wasn't for meditating, I would have crumbled a long time ago. So I think it even helped with just my confidence, like just knowing who I am, and I'm not in it for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here to tell my story, and I sleep good at night. And because I meditate and I am aware of myself, like those type of comments don't affect me, which makes the business grow more and more. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, if that was your answer, yes, it did. And then, but another question that I have is that when it relates to what you just said, thinking about what other people think about you and things of that nature, For individuals that are kind of following your same path and doing the things that you are doing, you know, they tend to use social media as the platform to grow their music career and things of that nature. Do you feel as if social media has put like a stigma on that, to where if you don't get a certain amount of likes, you're not as good as the next artist, or you're not as profitable as the next artist? Do you think that social media has put a stigma on that?
Oh, most definitely. As far as I don't know, analytics. I don't know why people think like analytics determine, you know, this culture, right? Like we grew up on I don't know how heavy you was on Pac or even Nipsey Hussle for that matter, right? Like if you really dug into album sales, Nipsey Hussle wasn't he wasn't competing with the Drakes, but as far as like in the neighborhoods go, just the street side culture, like his impact was crazy, and analytics can't prove that. And that's what sucked, because it's kind of like, all right, let's take social media. Like who's on social media, right? The people. Right. And living in the world that we living in, like how many woke individuals do we have, or how many intellectual individuals do we have versus I'm trying to think of an artist without throwing shade on their name. Okay, let's take somebody like Drake. Right? Drake is interracial.
Right.
Mixed, should I say. So, you know, you automatically gravitate to people that look like you, and he pretty much looked like everybody, I guess. So he already got us our attention there. When it comes to his rap music, you know, he can rap. Can I cuss on here or not?
Yeah, you can
Oh, my goodness, yeah. He could rap his ass off, right?
Right.
And then the singing shit is like impeccable as well. Now you grabbing all these R&B fans. And then the stuff he talk about is so from the heart. Now you relating to the people who in tune with they inner feelings, and you just grabbing all these people. And that's what the numbers say. The numbers say you're relatable. The numbers do not say you're the best. And I think that's what the confusing part is with social media. You'll look at the stuff that's getting all the views and whatnot and think that that's winning. They're good. When in reality, it's like, no, they not. Like Jasmine Sullivan is not selling what a lot of R&B female singers.
Beyonce.
Right. But if you put them in a room, is there, maybe two other women I could say could sing with her.
Yeah.
But but other than that, Jasmine killing everybody in the game, right? But when you look at the whole world, like that's Jasmine next level. She's so next level that some people just don't get it, you know, and they can't relate to that. It's too good at that point. So social media, man, analytics is messing up the game. And people don't know. You could put up, it could be a rapper that's really not that good, and it's horrible. And then he got like 6 dancers, and none of them could dance in a video. And people would just share the video out of making fun of him. Like, oh my God, look at this guy. He sucked. And everybody started sharing it. And now this video got 6 million views. And these higher ups that's looking to invest in somebody, they not reading the comments of us clowning this guy. They just looking like he trending, right? Yeah. He trending.
Right.
I don't care if it's good or not. The nigga trending.
Right. And
that's what's bad.
I never looked at it like that. Yeah. Like you put it into a whole different perspective, and that's actually true. And that's in regards to any type of entrepreneurship, business, anything. So yeah.
So like for example, Keya, I love I don't even know it. I don't like using the word black, but for lack of better words, like I love the black woman, right? Like she's everything. So I could make a beautiful song uplifting black women, and it could be perfect. It could be the best song ever made. But looking at this entire world, how many people can relate to I want to uplift black women, right? Like it's not a lot of people that. So I gotta say, this song was meant to touch who it was meant to touch, but black women go through so much in today's world, from racism to sexism to everything, right? So it's like, it's not a lot of people in black women corner. So if I make a black woman song, of course it might not sell that much because, you know, based on the masses, a lot of people might not want to hear it, but that doesn't mean it ain't needed or it ain't good just because a lot of people can't relate to it, right? Like I can relate to it. I got a black mother. You know, I got a black grandmother,
right.
so to me, it's like it'll hit me. But somebody who don't have that, they probably won't relate to it. So,
won't even play it, skip it right up.
But that doesn't mean it ain't
skip
good.
It right on the radio.
It don't mean it ain't good. It just means a lot of people probably can't relate to it.
I get it. That's like, you know what I'm saying, the Keisha Cole, when she go through a breakup. We love her music because we went through those same emotions, so we can relate. Get it. I got it.
And people confuse that with being hot. Like, nah, you just relatable. You ain't the coldest. You just the most relatable.
So, speaking of that, Bo, like for individuals who may want to follow your footsteps, going back and thinking about when you first started, like your very first video, your very first song in the car, from someone who's starting at that phase in their life, what would you give them as a piece of advice for personal development, for them to be able to grow and continue to prosper? What are some of the things that you use within your own personal development to get you to where you are?
I would say consistency and just lack of fear. And just that understanding that you already accomplished the biggest part, right? The biggest part is self-preservation, I think they call it. Like if I'm just walking, if I'm walking down the street and I'm slipping on some ice, like my natural reaction is to catch myself. And that's how people do everything when it comes to like fear. So even when it comes to like trying to start and do something, the hardest part is to starting it, because we got that self-preservation law. We don't want to go through pain. We don't want to hurt ourselves. What would the people think? If you got over that part already, you already won. You just keep consistent, and then doors gonna open up, and then this door gonna close because you're not meant to go that way, and then you just follow where life take you. Like it really ain't a map to it, but I do know that the hardest part is just starting, just getting over the fear of what people, like even your podcast, like I don't know if it ever crossed your mind, like, oh my God, what if the numbers ain't this, or what if I don't, and you start to question yourself, and it's like, damn it, just start. Like, like only, if people don't know, it's like 8.6 billion people in this world, but only like 15-20% of the world's population is doing the shit that everybody else is talking about. Everybody else was scared to. Only like, it's a very small number of the people who doing it. Like, just get out there and do it. And stay consistent. Like consistency was everything with me. I think my first video did like 3,000 views, and I thought I was on the kid. I thought it. You couldn't tell me nothing. 3,000 people, and thanks to people who really rock with me, and I give all the glory to God. But 3,000 views is something that come in a couple seconds now. But it was based on consistency and just being faithful, man, and hard work. You put that energy out, it's gonna come back.
And with that being said, Bo, I know it's very important with networking, with building relationships with different individuals, for you to be able to grow and things of that nature. Because for those who don't know, you have been able and privileged to work with people of statues like Twista and things of that nature. What would you say that you did within your career that allowed you to continue to be able to keep that good networking, to keep building those rapport and those relationships, other than just consistency?
I would answer that to say just staying true to who I am, staying in my lane, like just really being true to who I am. And I think people see that, especially people who true to they are. Like when you hear Twista speaking to him, when you hear Twista on the radio, you know it's him. You know it's him. Don't nobody sound like him. That's who he is. Yeah.
Nobody.
And he's comfortable with that. And it takes somebody who know they self to, when you listen to an artist, me being an artist, as soon as they open their mouth and start rapping, as soon as I hear a track, within a couple seconds, I can tell like what two artists they listen to, right? So if you like really listen to me, you could tell like, oh, he got about like 20% of that Twista in him, but then he got like 20% of that Jay-Z in him, and then that other 60% is like, that's Bo, right? Like that's
Yeah. I was gonna go with Jay-Z. Yeah.
But if you heard me and 100% made you say, man, it's a knockoff version of Jay-Z, then you're not the only one that feel that. Everybody do, and that'll make somebody not want to work with you, right? Like, dude, I'd rather work with the real one than, like, nobody want to work with a duplicate. So just staying true to who you are, I think that definitely exceeded, even strengthening a relationship like Twista, because Twista was able to say, like, man, dude, I ain't never heard nobody like you, man. Like, you, the way you put it is like, and that's a compliment I get a lot. Just, yes.
I was watching a lot of your videos repeatedly, and I'm like, okay, all right, look at him, okay. And it rhyme and everything. I'm from the 80s, so if it ain't rhyming, you're not talking about something, if it's not making sense, I ain't really trying to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do listen to things like, Lil Boosie, Lil Baby, the new millennium music. I do listen to that stuff sometimes, but I'm more of, like you said, we're 80, 90, so it has to have a message within it for me. And a lot of your videos, all of the ones that I definitely watch, always had a message, and that's what I appreciate the most about you as an artist. And speaking of that, Bo, what do you feel is integral to the work of being an artist, period?
You hit me with a good word. Integral.
Yeah, like, what do you feel is the most important thing?
Hold on, let me
work of an artist.
Now. I'm a thief when it comes. Hold on 1 second. Hey, but you know what's crazy? Some people lie so much. They'll just answer the question, not knowing what a word is.
Yeah, well, that means yeah.
And then they'll make the news tomorrow. Like, oh my God, why would they say something so? Because they just lack of knowledge. But go ahead. What was that word again?
Why you ain't say integral?
I'm gonna use.
Why you ain't say that? We could have got like 6,000 views. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, something crazy. Honestly, I heard the word before. I just didn't know the meaning. And I'm not. Yeah, I don't care if people laugh at me. I'm a realist. People scared to say, I don't know what that means. So important. So it's a synonym for important. I just learned something.
Yeah. But it's all good. Teamwork makes the dream work.
And now that I know, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. What do you feel is the most important thing to the work of an artist? Like, what do you feel is the most important thing that they should be focused on? And maybe not even just so as just an artist, but an entrepreneur, someone who's trying to start a business in order to be successful. What do you feel is the most important thing that they need to focus on?
I'll tell you something somebody told me. Find a problem in this world and come up with a solution for it. And it's that easy, right? Of course, that sounds easy. Like, oh, that's the most integral part, right? Just find out what's needed.
Right.
Yeah,
look at him using the integral. Yeah, okay, then.
Yeah, and you find out what's needed, man. And that's what's getting lost, right? Like, I think that's the most important part. Like, what's missing? Provide what's missing. Like, we listen to the radio, and whatever on the radio, we say, oh my God, it's on the radio. This must be the sound. And we automatically go to the studio and try to duplicate that same club record, that same type of vibe. And it's like, man, by the time it's released in the atmosphere, like, you already too late. Like, just stay true to who you are, right? Like, just find out what's missing. Don't duplicate. But that's easier said than done in a capitalistic world where everybody just redoing shit. Like, we got so many iPhones out.
They do anything.
And it's
thing for clout. Yeah.
And it's crazy. I was actually listening to J. Cole speak on he was speaking on Apple, like somebody could come out with this great phone that help us with everything, and then you got so many different phone companies like trying to duplicate the exact same thing for like half the price, right? Just people see what's making money, and then they just try to duplicate it. Like, it's all financial driven. And when it's financial driven, man, you get lost in the sauce. Like, it's like, shit, what are we doing here now? So that's the most integral part, man. Find what's needed. Do what's needed. Find out what's missing. Because I guarantee you, everybody got something in them that they can do that can't nobody else in the world do. And if you trying to do the shit that Drake good at,
Yeah,
like, who
you
gonna
got
do
that
you?
right.
Right. Yes. So that's the most integral part. That's the
Be
most
you.
integral part. And that's
Be
my 5
you.
times
Yes,
you.
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Thank
Look
you
at
for
him,
that.
and he keep on trying to use it.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. You're welcome. So speaking of importance and things of that nature, let's talk about, because I know that we live in Chicago, as everyone should know by now. And over the summer, there's been a lot of things happening within the community, especially the African American community, as far as like shootings and killings and things of that nature. But as it relates to music and things of that nature, coming from an artist's perspective, what role do you feel, in your opinion, that an artist has in society as it relates to educating the community, lifting up the community? What role do you feel that an artist has? Because you said that we listen to people, we're listening to them. Some other artists tend to mimic other artists. So, when it relates to, let's just say, for example, we have younger kids and they're listening to certain music. What would you say an artist would, what their role would be? Would it be to educate them on something?
I'm not going to put it so much on rappers and make it seem like they should have this. I mean, you know better than me. Just, I know the type of person you are after a few conversations with you, but it's like, man, this world is so, it's just all energy. Some, I might view some as good, I might view some as bad, but you kind of need all of it. You just need that balance. So I think, and even when you brought up like Lil Baby or the Baby earlier, like I'm a fan of both of them. Like, I'm proud of both of them, right? Like, it's needed. They do something I could never do, and I probably do something that they probably can't do. I don't know, but it's like, it's that balance that's needed. I think if everybody was like a Bo and trying to teach a lesson through every goddamn thing, it'll be like, you know what I'm saying? It's like too overwhelming. Like, where's if you turned on the radio and 90, yeah, right, and 98% of the music was all lesson and knowledge driven, maybe we'll be like, man, what a record set that's just fun, like just want to let my head down and have, we'll be. So I think it is the balance. I'm not gonna put it all on rappers, but I will say, I'm glad you brought that up, because I did something last night with David Banner, and one of the things he said was like, he felt like rappers need to get the hell out the way. Like, if you're not educated, everybody just scared to say they don't know. Or, like if you ask me right now, like, well, what do you think we need to do as a community to, right? Like, everybody's scared to say, honestly, I don't know. But I'll just give you a little bullshit answer to try to sound educated, not knowing that it's people listening to me. And even though I know I'm just bullshitting, trying to answer a question and not look bad because the cameras is on, like, these kids don't know that. So they start looking at me like I'm some damn spokesperson, when in reality, I'm not qualified to answer that. Like, I'm a woke individual, but man, you got real black activists out here that could lead us to a certain place. My thing is, let me do my thing. You know what I'm saying? Let me speak my truth and give my knowledge on it. But then I'm gonna get the hell out the way. I know what arenas I'm supposed to lead in, and I know what arenas I'm supposed to set my ass up in. And when it comes to certain politics, I just shut up. I think that's what our problem is. We always looking for, be honest. Can we be honest? All right. Yeah, man. People are such damn cowards,
be honest,
man.
Please
They
be
some
honest.
damn cowards. They always want to put some shit off on other people, and that's what the problem is to me. I ain't even gonna put it on the entertainers, but I hear so many people be like, man, what is Jay-Z doing? What is Beyonce doing? And it's like, what are you? What are you? Just because they got a huge platform, it's like everybody got a platform. What are you doing with your social media page? Like, how are you strengthening the community? Why we keep putting that energy off on other people, and we just sit back and we start to become the elite folk that just look out the window of complain about that. Now, why out there? It's just like, man, complaining people, and we point the finger at everybody that's moving because we standing still. We you know, some of us, we go to our 9 to 5, get off work, get on social media, and automatically why Jay-Z ain't doing this and why he ain't. And it's just like, man, it's so comfortable for you. It's so convenient for you to just sit your ass in the house and not do nothing and put all that pressure on me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we all can do something. We all can do something, whether the platform is.
I totally agree. I agree. I think that's very important because that's another reason why I try to have a genre mix of people coming on the podcast, because for me, that's my way of giving back in every kind of form I can, as far as like education wise, because knowledge is power. So, you know, I can only give you the information. It's up to you on how you use it. You know what I mean? But I totally agree. You can use whatever platform you have to be able to give back. But there's such a stigma put on like artists because, you know, when you hear people saying, well, it was because they were listening to this song and they did this and they did that. It's such a stigma put on artists. You know, in the media, well, they should be more positive, or they should, like you said, be doing this, that, and the third.
Right, not doing nothing. It's easy.
People are sitting at home not doing anything. So I totally agree.
Okay, so for me, when it comes to political, and I'm not sure, I'm just naming a popular group, but like let's say the Migos, I'm not sure what they political knowledge is. I'm not sure whether they got it or not. It don't even matter. I love their music. But when I wake up in the morning and there's some political shit going on, or the George Floyd situation happened, me personally, I'm not looking like, where's the Migos at, man? They got to come out and say something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what type of person do you have to be to sit back and wait for somebody else to, like, it just don't make sense to me how we look at celebrities like they some damn, no, they just got a gift. That's it. They got a gift and they execute. Yeah. And it's like, why do we expect? But that's how we train. That's all, you know, like we look at the powerful person as the one with the money. Like back in the days, we used to look at the powerful person as the one with the most knowledge, who the Malcolm X is out here just talking. But now we replace that knowledge with success. Like, nah, I don't want to listen to somebody unless they that I want, unless they got the money that I want, or if they got the whiteness. Yeah. And
Right. And you know, that's so true, Bo, because before we moved here, we were living in Georgia. And, you know, again, we're in the 80s, 90s era. We saw Shawty, the comedian, and chilling out in the library like a regular person. Just like a regular, so funny, regular person. You know, my daughters, they recognize him from the radio show in the morning. So, of course, they was like, you know, mama, that's whoop the whoop whoop. Yeah. But, you know, it's just what you said. He was acting like a regular person.
But
just like a regular person. And this is what you said.
Depending on who the artist is, they probably signed to a situation that's uncomfortable for them. And now it's just a job. They work a job just like you is. They a damn employee just like you is. Why you think they probably not qualified in that arena, man. And we need to stop putting that on artists and stuff. I know they got a platform to speak. Like I know I didn't drop Drake's name about 100 times, but I'm like, you know what's crazy? I'm actually a super
do you got a problem
big Drake
with
fan.
Drake?
Like super big Drake fan, but I found myself defending him because I know some people was just like, man, you know, even with this president we got in office is so dividing because everything is so black and white now. And back in the days, you had the Michael Jackson who, you know, he black, but, you know, then the skin did this thing, but he was the top dog at the time. And when it came to black and white issues, he talked about it. It don't matter if you black or white and I think a lot of people was looking at Drake like that, like, oh my God, this is the biggest rapper in the game. And he happened to be black and white. In a time where we got so many black and white issues, like, can't he say something? Like, can he say something, right? And it's like, damn, y'all hold that man to that type of like goodness, man. Just like this is it. Just because he the top artist who happened to be black and white, like we're gonna hold him to the fire to say something, fix everything that's going on, right? Like, come on, who the hell do we think Drake is, right? Yeah, and he talented as hell, and he give us enough of his
just
life.
a regular
like, now
person,
we want this
just
man
like
to come
you and
save
I.
the United States. It's just like, what are we asking him to do, man? Like, what do you know? And that's just a lot of people. I hear Jay-Z name the most. I don't know what people expect from him, but
Yeah, and I think because of the statue that he's held, up the pedestal that they put him up on. So yeah, I do. But that's a different story and on a different day. But yeah, it's exactly what you said. That he's the same way, Jay-Z as well. But I do have a couple more questions for you before we end the podcast for tonight, Bo. The next question that I have for you is, after everything that we talked about over the general podcast for tonight, what piece of advice would you have for someone who is trying to figure out who they are in regards to their personal development? What would you give? What piece of advice would you give them in regards to making that first step in
a little social media shit? You're gonna have to take a month or two from it. All of these things is meant to take you further from who you really are. So you can't hold on to them things. If you taking that journey to get to know you, you came in this world naked. You got to go back to your naked form and take all them distractions out. All them distractions. Like, it's at the point now, I done heard so many people say it, but I wake up in the morning. If it's raining outside, what do? You go get your boots. You go get your umbrella. You prepare yourself to go out into the world. If it's snowing, you put your snow boots. You prepare yourself. And that's the same thing. Like, Keya, I don't know if people know how much of a spiritual battle of energies this is in this world. Just at your typical Walmart. So it's like, yeah, exactly. And I cannot walk into this.
It's the Matrix.
Without preparing myself. I can't walk into Walmart with all these energies without knowing that I'm centered. I have to center, So when it come to people, all that. All
that's
that.
like, you got to be careful who you hug and all that kind of thing. Who you give handshakes to and that.
No. That's so true. It transfers. So anybody looking, the first step that I would say,
finish what you're saying. Yeah,
make them sacrifices, man. Your favorite little sports show and all that. Because I guarantee you, when you start to find out who you are, all this shit that you think matter, this shit do not matter. It don't matter. But I try to at least prepare myself before I go out into the world. And when I say prepare myself, I mean, I do spend 15, 20 minutes when I first wake up. I meditate. I do that before I even get on social media because I already know it's going to tug at my emotions, right? And if I'm not centered, man, that shit going to have me.
You better say it. Mm-hmm.
Good and bad.
All those
good and bad. So I might wake up and somebody might put a comment on one of my videos like, nigga, you the worst. Right? You the worst. That shit gonna fuck with me all day. But then the person that say I'm the best, now I'm gonna be ego driven the whole day. It's like all day. Good or bad is still detrimental to me. So it's like, let me center myself. Let me show some gratitude. Let me say my prayer. And now but that's first, man. If you praying and you meditating, you're gonna find out who you are. And I'm a book reader, so I always tell people, man, go get a good ass book and read the shit out of it and take notes. Yeah.
Trying to tell you. I agree. Thank you so much for that vote. And I'm just going to piggyback off of you. I think that's a good idea. And I do that myself. And I have my own little motto. I call it mind, body, and soul. So mind in the morning, you get up, you meditate. That's your mind. Your body, you eat something healthy. You exercise or whatever you do, your yoga, whatever that is. And your soul, you read something. That's how you know what I'm saying? And I have different books teaching me on how to utilize my spiritual gifts that I have, because people don't know that they have gifts within themselves. You just have to know how to properly use them. So yeah, everything that you said, I totally agree. And you have to take yourself away from social media. And for me, I went through a dark moment. And that's what led me into my spirituality.
Ooh.
And I had to do what you said. I got off of social media literally for over a year. because I had to focus on me. I had to find me. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you learn self-love and you start feeding into yourself. Then that's when you're able to manifest things that you would never be able to imagine. So yeah, I agree. So, Bo, before we get up out of here tonight, can you let the listeners and the audience know, do you have any upcoming events, major things coming up for you soon?
A couple social media tags right off top. I don't know. I do know I have something with Killer Mike coming up on the 24th or 25th, I believe. But I go by Bo Music on all my social media outlets. So if you interested in knowing what's going on, please follow. I usually put updates.
Being said, you guys, always remember you are a bomb within your own shell. Have a great night. Peace, love, and light. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure you subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast with your family and friends. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you're leaving with some valuable information that can help you on your personal journey. Also, check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Bombshell1111 or at Bombshell1111 TV. You can also check out our mental health page, Your Health is Your Wealth, on Facebook, which is a page created to inform and support individuals with mental health and other health conditions. And with that being said, always remember, you guys, you are a bomb within your own shell. And until next time, peace, love, and light.